Puke's, and once again, you are watching CinemaPuke.
What it do, Puke Crew? So I wanted to make a compilation of certain scenes that I always thought were frightening to me, scenes that have stuck with me since I was a kid, and even some as an adult. But the following are certain clips from movies and music videos that I always thought were frightening. These clips have always stuck in my mind. These clips have made me uneasy, uncomfortable, and of course, frightened. So here they are. First film I wanted to touch on, Wes Craven's The Serpent and the Rainbow. Very underrated film. The story of an anthropologist who travels to Haiti and discovers voodoo. The film is based on actual events, so that's already terrifying to me. Watching it as a kid, sneaking to watch it. My dad had this one recorded on VHS. There are a few creepy scenes in the film, but the witch doctor revealing himself with menacing teeth is the scene that got me. Next up, Pink Floyd's The Wall. Not a horror movie, however it does have intense and disturbing, frightening images. The basic story of a boy growing up alone and then becoming a rock star and eventually a fascist leader. Here's another film that I would sneak to watch, this one being my dad's VHS. This is his original Pink Floyd The Wall VHS. The one scene that got me from the film was Pink swimming in the pool, and of course, the camera angles and the way the camera moves. There's just something about that bloody pool scene with the way the camera moves that, I don't know, it just terrified me as a kid. Director Alan Parker did a good job with this film. This is another one that's, I believe, is underrated in my book. I think another album that would do a good transfer to a movie would be Dream Theater's Scenes from a Memory. Next up, David Bowie's Black Star music video, which is also the title of the album. It would also be his last album, released on his 69th birthday, 2 days before his death. I'm actually not a fan of this album. As you can see, I still haven't opened it. It was uneasy, uncomfortable, and not how I'd like to remember one of my musical heroes. I don't know what the hell's going on in that music video with those shirtless, ashy, shaky dudes. All I know is it scared the shit out of me. Next, Brian De Palma's rock and roll goth horror comedy cult classic, Phantom of the Paradise, which is one of my favorites. This film is more comedy than horror. There are a few frightening scenes, one being the one I chose, and one being at the end, where Swan, played by Paul Williams, gets his mask ripped off, and you see his grotesque face. There's something about that up-close scene where the Phantom says, "Phoenix," with his voice box, and of course, his capped teeth. Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. I actually saw this film in the theater with my parents. Who wouldn't be scared of a middle-aged, smirking, demonic Antichrist baby being held by an androgynous devil during the whipping of Jesus? I mean, who thinks of that?
Oh, my nipples are so tender, don't squeeze them anymore!
That's Mel Gibson.
William Friedkin's The Exorcist. Arguably one of the scariest films ever made. The film is filled with frightening images, but for me, it's whenever possessed Reagan is laughing or giggling, especially when she's giggling at the death of Father Merrin. Robert Eggers's The Witch. You know, there's not too many horror films in the past 10 to 20 years that have that natural horror ability to frighten the audience. And I believe this is one film that's just naturally scary. Nothing comes off forced, it's just natural. Especially that barn scene with the witch and the kids. That lady in the chair with the raven pecking at the teat. Also, while laughing, another laughing scene.
They'll say you hated her, Rachel, and that was true.
Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Another film that's naturally scary, doesn't come across forced, which is something the remake lacked and completely ruined. There are several frightening and graphic scenes in the film, but having watched this as a kid, it's the decaying and skeletal sister Zelda, with her mouth open, choking, arched over. That's what made me want to look away in complete terror. Tobe Hooper's Poltergeist. For me, it's the scene with the dad drinking mezcal and then swallowing the worm and then regurgitating that into a slimy skeletal monster crawling on the floor and then smirking evilishly Now for me, that's creative terror at its best.
So there you have it. Those are certain scenes that have impacted me over the years. An honorable mention might be the ending of Carrie with the hand coming out of the ground. And I also remember being scared of the first two Hellraiser films, seeing those on TV during Joe Bob's Monster Vision. So for my subscribers, I am interested in what memorable horror movies have frightened you in your youth or in your adulthood. Go ahead and leave a comment below. I really want to know what horror scenes have impacted y'all. Leave a comment below. And if you guys like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Look for me on social media. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The links will be in the description. And until next time,